Bomaye, amalamo bomaye, papa muru piria bomaye. Ibirigela la bomaye, papa muru piria bomaye. Amalamo bomaye, papa muru piria bomaye. Amen. All right. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I decided to give some cultural vibes just before we start the show today. Rose Philip. Well, we may not necessarily understand everything, but we know we are praising God and in our culture. So which makes a lot of sense for me. So welcome everybody to the show. I know a lot of people have been waiting for us to start the show today. And yes, finally, I have the acting leader of the Bonny Youth Federation live, and it will be going live very soon. So you just give us some few minutes. But before we start, share our videos across all platforms so that we can have many people come on the live. Today, we are just addressing strictly some of the many issues of the BYF and the BYF elections. And this is very important for me because the election will speak to a large extent what is going to happen for the future of Bonny young people. So I've gotten many calls. Many people have sent me messages on how they want the issues to be clarified. So my work today is to help get answers to some of the questions you guys have always wanted to know. Help us share the video, like I said, so that we can have more questions to ask. Okay. All right. So I'm going to bring up my guest, and there's a lot to say, and I trust him to have so much also to say. But what I'm going to say is let's take it easy. But the mix today is everybody will have an opportunity to call in and ask their questions directly. We are doing a test run on this, and for the first time today, we'll be able to ask our questions. So if you can see the screen, if you have a question to ask during the question time, the number on the screen is the number you can call to ask your questions. And call the number when it's the right time. There will be no call taken until the due time to ask your questions. So let me take that off so that we don't distract. But everybody know that today we can ask our questions live, and the BYF leader will hear you live as you ask your questions. So without much ado, let me bring in my guest so that we can kickstart the conversation. Okay. I'm welcoming you, sir, Chairman. All right. right, welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello, sir. All right, I decided to play
I
some
can hear you.
Ibani
I said good
vibes for so that you can. Yeah, good evening. I was
That's
playing
good.
some Ibani vibes so that we can welcome you very well.
Thank you.
Okay, how's your Sunday going,
Good.
sir? How's your Sunday going?
Thank God. It went well.
All right, all right. So, sir, let's just go straight to the conversation today. Today is such a very important day, and many people are watching, and it's because we are trying to prepare for the upcoming BYF elections. So, sir, my first question to you is,
Yeah.
how come? Why did it take so long to prepare for the elections? We're expecting these elections in September, but suddenly it's now in October. Why did it take this long?
Prepare for the elections.
Yes,
For the preparation.
yes.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, viewers. A transition program is not something you just come up with overnight. And like I said before, COVID-19 held us hostage. But by the grace of God, COVID-19 became a blessing to us in disguise. Now that everywhere is calm, we are prepared for the election. It wasn't intentional. We all know that even Nigerian economy is affected by COVID-19. But the issue is that we are prepared for the election. Are you with me?
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, sir. I'm with you. I'm with you. So the first concern from many Bonny people is that they are wondering how come the caretaker committee is also acting as the eleco of this election? Why?
Well, let me tell you, we are caretaker committee, and the caretaker committee we are saddled with the rights and privileges, modus operandi by the executive chairman during the inauguration to conduct and arrange a new executive for Bonny Youth Federation. You know that before we were inaugurated as caretaker under BYF, BYF was thrown away for BYA. The executive chairman, with the consent of His Majesty, dissolved BYA and they thrown away BYF and resuscitated a new BYF with a caretaker committee to conduct elections, come up with a constitution, and election for the new executive with the name Bonny Youth Federation and prescribe Bonny Youth Assembly. Are you with me?
I'm with you, sir.
Hello? Okay. So at that, you do not need an ELECO. We have to do the job of resuscitating the Bonny Youth Federation and the electoral to run the electoral process. If it were a transition from an elected government to an elected government, you must set up an electoral committee that will be supervised by the outgoing executives. But at this point, they weren't elected people. Bonny Youth Federation, congresses, and the executive council were dissolved after they have dissolved it from Bonny Youth Federation to Bonny Youth Assembly. So chairman, with his infinite responsibility, dissolved the two body and returned our traditional Bonny Youth Federation. So we are at the verge of building, and we must build, construct, furnish, and hand over. That's what we are there to do.
Okay. So as you are at the verge of building, are you currently working with any constitution of the BYF?
My brother, when we were sworn in, effort of getting hold of the Bonny Youth Federation the then moribund Bonny Youth Federation proved abortive. Even the add-on executive council that were dissolved never handed over any constitution. We have to solve for the constitution because we must break away. Governance is a continuum. So we have no constitution. We find ourselves like the situation of Abdul Salami Abubakar after the death of General Sani Abacha. Abacha died without a constitution. The only body they had then was the PRC, Provisional Ruling Council. When Abacha died, a new head of state took over. At that point, when Abdul Salam took over, he had nothing as a constitution, but he had the orders from the United Nations International Committee to resuscitate, to return democracy to Nigeria. And today, the constitution we use was not written by any person. It was a constitution galvanized by the interim government of Abdul Salami Abubakar, which he handed over to General Olusegun Obasanjo. Today, you can also refer the People's Constitution, the Constitution of the People of Nigeria. No Nigerian assembled constitution, but it was assembled for the interest of Nigeria. And today, the constitution is being reviewed from time to time. First time to hear 1999 constitution as reviewed by the National Assembly. Up till today, for almost 22 years, we have not been able to have a constitution, but would adhere to come up with a working document that when the new executive comes in, they will have what to work with. The new executive had to now, inaugurate a constitution review committee where they can review the one we're able to assemble as to get in tune with what we are faced today. So there is nobody that will tell us that the particular constitution for the Bonny Youth Federation, which one do you want me to use? Is it the one they re-elected, the other ESCO re-elected under Bonny Youth Federation with the constitution? And they moved down the constitution for another body they call BYA. And the BYA constitution is not at hand. And we are not operating under BYA, we are operating under Bonny Youth Federation. Therefore, we are coming up with a document that is not also much different from Bonny Youth Federation constitution, the one we've been able to pick from any person. So by the time the new executive comes in, they have to review or draft, set up a constitution review committee to get this constitution, please.
Okay, acting leader. So if I get, with you, if I get you correctly, you are holding and you are doing an election without a constitution handed over to you, without no ELECO, and you and your committee, you are self-handedly conducting the election because the transition process. Is that correct?
I've told you that in a caretaker committee, there is no an ELECO. Caretaker committee serves dual purposes. If you ask the history of every caretaker committee, it serves dual purposes. You can only find a substantial ELECO if there is transition from an elected executive whose tenure is coming to an end as supervised agency to another executive.
Okay, so acting leader.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, acting leader, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Now. No, a call came in.
Leader, acting leader, are you with me?
I don't call the call now. A call came in and two is showing here. Come. I'm not hearing anymore. Hello.
Okay. Let us try and get him back. So, he has said that he did not get any constitution handed over to him. There is no ELECO committee because in its transition, especially not from an elected government, elected administration to another, there is no ELECO committee. So his caretaker committee is single-handedly acting as ELECO and as caretaker to conduct the election.
Hello.
Yes. No problem. Welcome back. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So if I will cast your mind back when the Simeon-led administration was dissolved by the executive chairman, he said and he mentioned that he was dissolving them because their tenure as per the constitution had come to an end. on which constitution was he referring to as at that time? If you say there was no constitution handed over to you.
My brother, what I am telling you is that as at the time of dissolution, they served dual executives. They served half of their time. They were elected 2 years Bonny Youth Federation. Half of the year was for Bonny Youth Federation. The other half of the year was for Bonny Youth Assembly. Chairman stepped down that Bonny Youth Assembly for Bonny Youth Federation. And if you look at the guidelines, what we are doing, I am telling you, I told you that we are not here, we don't have Bonny Youth Federation constitution. The one we manage to get from persons, we have to assemble from it the modus operandi for this election. So like I said, we are prepared for the elections and we are ready, timetables are out, we are ready to conduct election. When the new people comes in, they are at will by the laws of the people to conduct constitutional drafting committee or constitutional review committee, because a document must be handed over to them. That is it. And we are prepared for the elections.
Okay. All right. So let's go over to the guidelines you have put together for this election. And one of the guidelines says that both aspirants and delegates will be profiled by the DSS. Why is that so?
There is no aspirants. Bonny Youth Federation, if the Bonny Youth Federation has a structure, written or unwritten, that for you to be an aspirant, you must go through what we call House Delegate election or nomination to the Youth Federation as a delegate. My brother, if you are listening, a lot of youth body, even the BYA, were disbanded sometime by the executive governor of Rivers State due to social vices. The executive governor disbanded a lot of youth activities, and he said every youth activity that wishes to operate, or youth body that wishes to operate as youth organization must go through profiling. Bonny local government or Bonny Youth Federation is not the first. It happened in Omoko Youth Federation. It happened everywhere. Rivers State Federation. Youth organizations are being profiled. Youth organizations are being recognized now, validated in the Ministry of Youth and Social Ministry of Youth, Rivers State. So taking them for profiling is not my making, but it's a fiat that every youth organization that wishes to operate in Rivers State profiling. And the profiling Bonny Youth Federation is not out of being profiled. So I'm following the due process in making sure that people are profiled by the DSS. DSS is an organ of government.
Okay. So the profiling of the DSS is from the Rivers State government.
Yes. So the executive order from Rivers State government. Even Bonny Youth Federation, before even this election, we went for revalidation. Every member of the CTC, when we are written to by DSS.
Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Can you hear me?
Okay, you're back. I can hear you. Go on, please. Go on, please. I can hear you now.
Hello. Can you hear me? Yes. I said, even as Bonny Youth Federation, before this election, the Rivers State government, Ministry of Youth, invited youth organizations for revalidation, and which process we are going through. Copies of the revalidation letter have been sent to DSS, duly entered. So it is not my making. Government at all angles, government at all levels are profiling persons, even those who are to be senators, House of Reps, or ministers, they are being profiled. Profiling is not a new thing, except those who have a questionable character that feel that they cannot be profiled. Well, that's not my making, but I think by the tenets of the law, everywhere, every youth who wishes to be a delegate will go through profiling. From profiling, delegates will pick out. From among the delegates that are 3 persons, those delegates will now form. Those delegates will have right to aspire to be aspirants, because you cannot co-join. You cannot co-join delegate and aspirant. They are not co-joined twin. They differ. For you to be a delegate gives you the ticket to be an aspirant.
Okay,
And
wait,
you cannot
let me
be an
get this
aspirant
straight.
without being a delegate.
Let me get this. Let me understand this, sir. So you said they'll be sending from the guidelines, each house will be sending 5 nominees as delegates for profiling, and out of the five delegates,
Yeah.
they'll be selecting 3. Who is
Yeah.
selecting the 3, and where would the remaining 2 go to?
After profiling, DSS will return to us what their findings and clearance. Once we see those who are 5, if 5 of them were cleared, there's no problem. We'll call the house, we'll use a phone call to call the house, give us 3, or the house can ballot it for them, or we can ballot for them, whichever way. But what I'm telling you is that in every transition program, we have rules and regulations. And for those who wishes to contribute their quota in terms of developing this kingdom, must also go with us with the rules and regulations. Except, like I said, those who have questionable character, those who feel that if they have built an oligarchy for themselves, that they must be the persons there. And that we will not also accept. It's not a matter of must. People must go through the process. We have come out with a program. The programs we are ready to conduct free, fair, credible, and all acceptable elections. We are ready for that. So we cannot,
Okay.
if you say a 3, if we have said bring the 3, if we have said bring the 3 delegates, life itself modification. I saw these things coming. If I said bring 3 delegates, and 3 delegates went for profiling, and maybe 3 were not cleared, the house wait for the house, made it that 5, is that whatever that happens on the way, replacement will take place. And when replacement takes place, they are all members of the house. So I don't know the issue of people saying who picks and who do not pick this. We will not wait for anybody. Transition will go on, my brother.
Okay.
Are you with me?
I'm with you. I heard you loud and clear. So there has been different outrage everywhere about the cost of forms for the election, especially for the position of youth leader. Why is the position of youth leader 100,000 naira and the deputy 50,000 naira?
My brother Wisdom, let me tell you, in every electoral process, there are ways of taming crowded and unserious people in this business. When you want to rule a place like Bonny, which by this time next year will be linked to the hinterland, a place like Bonny, that 27 will bring nothing less than 14,000 persons or more into Bonny. My brother, at this point, it shouldn't be for all, even in the animal kingdom. Even in the animal kingdom, all animals are equal. Some are more equal. So we must, in every electoral process, you must, as electoral body, you must find a way of taming the crowds and getting the people. We are not the first people. It's even ashamed that some people are saying 100,000. Bonny Youth Federation in this world is comparable to maybe Security Youth Council and others. Because Bonny Youth Federation, how much do they want us to sell the form? They want us to give the form for free. If they want it for free, there's no problem now.
Are you saying that
we're here with our guidelines?
Are you saying that 100,000 naira for a form for a position that he doesn't earn salary, and it's not a money-making organization or a money-making venture, 100,000 naira is not outrageous? Are you saying that?
Who told you that Bonny Youth Federation is not a money-making venture? Who told you? It's because of the greed. If there is a Bonny Youth Federation in the Niger Delta, you cannot be said not to have financial base. It's not possible. People are just being myopic and hidden, trying to run away from the truth. Truth is something that is always explicit. Bonny Youth Federation. Why is the rush to Bonny Youth Federation? Why is the rush? Everybody wants to be. So if we have decided to say, why not our founding fathers say that, okay, since it's going to election, let everybody come and vote like they did in One Youth Council. On a Youth Council, every youth of One will look at your back and they will count the vote and you win. Whoever that wins, they declare. But Bonny Youth Federation will have a model where our forebears came up with an idea that everybody cannot decide the fate of Bonny Youth. What they did, everybody transferred the authority to the delegates. Let the delegates go and decide the fate of Bonny Youth. So if you say, I've said, okay, everybody can come and pick form. At that day, let it be for everybody. We said the form should be free because we don't need to put ballot. All we need to count is option A for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you are 1,000, we declare you winner. It's happening on there. Another
Are you saying categorically that the Bonny Youth Federation is a money-making venture? I want to know, is that correct?
No. Bonny Youth Federation, let me tell you. Nobody goes to Bonny Youth Federation and comes out the same thing. Yes, I was there 20 years ago. I was got to know, in fact, I was there 20 years ago. I've been known because of activities in Bonny Youth Federation 20 years ago as Director of Pollution and Environmental Matters. So, and I would not also close my eyes to say that my involvement in my time in Bonny Youth Federation, that land, that natural land, that land filled with milk and honey did not bless me. And so if I should say that, then the ancestors and God Almighty will punish me. I became human Bonny Youth Federation. So if I should tell you that I got nothing from Bonny Youth Federation, then Almighty God will never forgive me. So whomever that I tell you, he will go into Bonny Youth Federation and come out the same thing, then let him go and ask his God what happened to him.
Okay, so just to be clear, is the youth leader, does he earn any salary, the youth leader? Does he earn any salary from the BYF?
Let me tell you, the youth leader, right from when I was in Federation, Bonny local government, the supervisory agency, the regulatory agency of all youth organizations, gives subvention to Bonny Youth Federation. So the subvention they share every month. So nobody should tell you that they don't get anything. The local government, right from Amobus and Boroda for the Buwana Long John, when I was a youth officer, who have been paid up to the last executive, the last my brother's senior lady executive. They have been subvented by every local government, both caretaker. Even my own time, as we came on board, we've been subvented twice since then because of the dwindling situation. So every month local government subvent them, no matter whatever it takes. The amount of which I will not mention, but I know that they have been subvented. So even the 100,000 you are talking about, with the subvention from local government, 1 month they have gotten the 100,000 naira each. If I have asked them to pay 100,000 each. So nobody should tell you that nothing is happening there. I'm with you, my brother.
All right. Interesting. This is for the first time hearing that the Bonny Youth Federation is a money-making venture. But I'm curious to ask.
You might call it money-making venture, but Bonny Youth Federation is like poultry. A woman that tells you that they can't find egg in that poultry when there are layers, the person is lying to you. So you might call it any other name, but it's like a poultry. There is always egg. Hence, they have layers and there is feed for it. You must always find egg at all times.
So your committee will not be reviewing the cost of those forms, and any argument making against that cost of the form will not be going down. Is that correct?
My brother, the beauty about governance is that we took into consideration all these things. We saw it coming. We looked at it. We want a Bonny Youth Federation that will have reason to know that they came in and to work for Bonny people. Bonny Youth Federation is not for everybody. If it's for everybody, we would have said option A for all Bonny people abroad, everywhere, come online. Let's count you. But in every society, for the foundation to be strong, there should be laws and guides, processes that leads to every organization. Would you also ask why parties are saying that you must pay 6 million to be governor, you must pay this? So is you contesting governor, is it a money-making venture that your party will say you buy for 36 million? We have created a standard. The standard, we are ready to conduct election for those who fits in within the parameter of the guideline. We are ready for elections. Everybody's crying for the election. Election has come.
Okay.
People are complaining. Do they want us to give the form free? Let us give it free now.
So many have said
that there is no.
Many have.
How you know that there is no free town? There's no
Many
free
have
food in
said that.
Freetown.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, many
I
have
can hear
said.
you.
Yeah, many have said that the reason why the cost of the form is increased or is this high is because there is an anointed person for that position, and that cost of the form is just to chase every other person away. Is this correct?
But I don't know what you anoint. I know that only Jesus anoints people. It's only the priest that anoints. So I don't know what you talk about anointing or not anointing. I, as a caretaker committee, I'm here to conduct election. And those who fall between the preview of the guideline, we'll clear them. We'll clear them. And so, because I don't have the finance to contest governor, buy same form with Governor Wike, I'll go to PDP and pick form. I want to contest governor. My brother, even in Freetown, there's no free food.
Okay, so how would you explain your statement? How would you explain your statement saying that the BYF is not for every Bonny youth? How would you explain that if there's no
My
anointed
brother,
person?
if there's no anointed person, that BYF is not for everybody use.
Yes. Yes.
It cannot be for all, because the powers of the entire Bonny youth have been handed over to the delegates to decide the fate of people of the chieftaincy houses. As you are, whatever decision that the king in council decides based on every Bonny people. So we cannot say because Chief Pauline or Chief Toliver have not been in council for 29 years, therefore they are not part of that decision. It's not possible, my brother. Sometimes when we criticize, we try to also agree. We try to also help a system. We cannot lie in criticizing every system because it's not favorable to us. For anointing or not anointing, anointing happens in you can go to what's it called, adoration ministry, where they anoint people. I don't know who they are anointing. Me, I'm there to conduct election for Bonny people. And those who are prepared for the election to follow the tenets of law, guidelines we have brought up, we are ready to clear, we are ready to conduct election. For me, it's even overdue for me to conduct election. Like I told you, I'm an elder statesman in Bonny tradition. I have come to repair the house they have destroyed and set a good foundation for the future tomorrow. Bonny is before the world. So we cannot, nobody should tell us we should go to Freetown. Even in Freetown, there is no free food.
Just another question. So do you have the blessings of the local government chairman and the traditional institution on these guidelines you have set?
If I have their blessings.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Bonny is an indivisible kingdom. Bonny is an indivisible kingdom. I have the blessings of His Majesty. Without His Majesty, I cannot. I have the blessing of the chairman of council. If you look at the program, I said in accordance to the terms of reference and powers conferred on our committee by the secretary chairman of Bonny Local Government Council, with the consent of our traditional ruler, the king, of Asian Grand Bonny, we are poised to conduct election. We cannot. The Bonny Local Government of today and the traditional institution of today is not divided. They are conjoined twin. Because the king is a part of the chairman, of the council chairman, and a part of every Bonny person. Okay. And there cannot be any leadership in Bonny in isolation of the amenable and natural ruler of Grand Bonny.
All right. So my next question is, when I saw the guidelines you have set, I noticed that you have introduced a position of woman leader. And this position did not exist over the years in the BYF. How did you come about that, and why?
Let me ask you, Mr. Wisdom. Mr. Wisdom. Can you hear me?
Yes, correct. Go on.
Hello. Laws are made for men. Laws are also repealed by men. Modification is part of men. Today, you are calling me from Lagos. 1999, when Obasanjo came, do you have a handset? Can you call somebody from Lagos via Facebook? My Zuckerberg, God helped him. Others were playing social vices. My Zuckerberg, a young man, went and opened up that you can call me from anywhere. Is it not modification? My brother, the world holds nothing for anybody. People must find their way in this world. So if you want to be creative, you can be creative. Let me ask you, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Hello?
I'm with you.
My brother, those who are against the creation of the Director of Women Affairs, those who are against the creation or the introduction of the Director of Women Affairs, I don't think they were born by a woman. And I don't think they have requisite knowledge of what the least girl or lady in Bonny goes through to have an employment, to have an access for employment, or to be employed in a company, or to last in a company. My brother, women in Bonny, girls in Bonny, and women in Bonny are vulnerable in nature. The society had made them vulnerable. The world itself has been crying about women emancipation. Even in political parties, they have women leaders. Even in the other programs, community forum, they have women leaders. The Amina of natural Bonny, Amina natural law of Grand Bonny, last year made a serious history in the lives and times of Bonny people, where he created Bonny Women Leader Forum. He made a woman leader that would be a spokesperson to the Bonny women. And I think people should learn, and we must borrow from our elders. That's the essence of learning. And we have borrowed that to give the women voice. Even PDP, where chairman had women leaders. So the women in Bonny must have a voice. If you see, for the past how many years, 2 years we left the executive, 20 years of the chieftaincy houses being involved in youth federation, you can hardly find women involved, except Alali Rimo, who again just few persons, nothing less than 3 women for 22 years. I have been involved. That's from 1999 till date. Not more than 2 or 3 women have been involved in youth federation. Is youth federation made for men only? The world is moving. If you go to the United Nations, more than 1.2 million organizations, 800,000 of them are for campaigning for women, emancipation of women. World leaders are women. So why would we tie Bonny women? My brother, do you know that for you to get a job as a lady in Bonny, you have to sleep a lot of men? If you are employed, a non-Bonny person who is your supervisor will ask for your lap. And if you refuse, you will be placed on redundancy. If you rush back to your community to meet youth, they will ask you come to one hotel and sleep you. By the time they will sleep you, Bonny girls, they'll say they are harlots. They don't, because their own is exposed, because the whole thing is happening in Bonny. And non-Indians stay more in the site than Bonny people. Non-Indians will sleep, go through the whole men there, go back to their community and get married. Our girls are here. The person I slept with her, CLO slept with her, President slept with her, Safety Hospital slept with her, na harlot, na sham. So my brother,
acting leader,
we must create, listen, we must create a decent environment for women participation. Women emancipation is all over the world, and Bonny wouldn't be an exception. And the people shouting for women do not have the prerequisite knowledge and historical background. That one of the best laws Bonny people are inherited today was made by Queen Kamba Sirie. That's the Owebo tradition. Owebo is the government of Bonny. It was the creation of a woman.
Acting leader.
As an court of arbitration, traditional arbitration, court of arbitration for people. Are you aware?
Permit me to
so those who are clamoring for women, I don't. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I want to ask another question again. Yes. My question is: there are different houses in Bonny now.
Are you comfortable with women?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Are you comfortable with the women answer?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes.
Except those of them who were born out of yes. Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. The only comment I have for that is a welcome development to have a director of women affairs. But the question on the lips of everybody is who gave the caretaker committee the powers to introduce that position? That is the only comment I'm going to make on that. Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this question. They should go and also ask Mark Zuckerberg why he introduced fast on Facebook. Uncle this. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. I can hear you. Put the volume. Put mic.
Okay, I've lost him again. I think the network. Well, interesting. He said I should ask Facebook who gave Mark Zuckerberg powers to create Facebook. Quite an interesting one. Anyway, so we are going to move to other questions like houses who are in crisis. I'm seeing some of your comments and how they plan to handle it. And he's back on, but before I bring him on, in the next few minutes, you'll be able to call in to ask your questions. And I will display the numbers to call on the screen. Please call to ask your questions, and also drop your questions on the comment section if you want to ask. Welcome, acting leader.
Please return your question, please. I'm interested.
I think you have answered that. Let's move on. Let's
you
move.
See,
let's
the world
move
is
on.
moving fast.
Let's move on. So the most another important question.
Oh, who they do this call now? Come on this thing. Come put
Can you hear me?
Volume right mic.
I think you are muted. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
It's low. I'm not hearing you well.
Oh, okay. All right. So, like I said, there will be opportunities for everybody to call in and ask your questions directly. It's the first time we'll be trying the call-in method, and let's just try and test run it to see how it works. So I'll be displaying the number in the next 5 minutes after my next question, just to allow some of you that wants to call in and ask your questions. He has addressed some of the issues, and okay, welcome back.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. Hello, leader, can you hear me? Hello? Okay, I think he's frozen from his end, and he will join again when he can. Okay, so I wanted to ask him question on the different houses. There are houses that are having internal issues with especially their chieftaincy, most prominently that of the Jumbo Major House. And I'm curious to know how his caretaker committee plans to handle that part or issues like that, especially when they arise. So I'm going to ask him, and after that questions, I'll be displaying the numbers for you guys to call in and ask him your questions. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, brother.
All right. So I wanted to ask you, there are different houses that have internal issues, especially with their chieftaincy. They are unable to they have leadership issues within their houses, most prominently that of the Jumbo Major House.
Your house.
Yeah, so there's a question here that says how will your committee, or how is your committee handling issues from houses like that, because there'll be multiple lists sent to you, so how will you handle it?
Yes, audience, let me tell you, I saw these things coming. Okay, if you listen other interviews I've had before this time, I took time, I saw it coming. So I personally we agreed not to write to any chieftaincy house. What we did was to display the programs for the election. When you see, you follow our guideline and come with it. One of the guidelines in checkmating those crises is that you must get a letter, a house that do not have a chief in council, a salable in council. You must get a letter attached from Bonny Youth Council. In the houses that have chieftaincy problem, chief elect problem, you also have a letter attached from Bonny Youth Council, recognizing your own group or your faction. You know, so I think that had helped us to comb unforeseen circumstances. Right now, out of the 35 or so, I think I have cleared about 26 or 27 houses had no issue. The few that had issue, Baniga have been able to resolve. Areas where necessary, there are litigations in Mila people, there are litigations in some houses which have been talking into the youths, that the problem, the youths are also adding to those problems. Youths do not make chief. You shouldn't be part of chieftaincy clique. So it's one of the major issues that may, if not well, taking charge. Though I'm giving them by tomorrow my likely result. There are just few houses, about 4 houses that have issues, and those 4 houses cannot help or bound. Transition is on. We are going. It will be an unfortunate thing to them, and the youth will be the losers, that they not participated in deciding who becomes the leader or executives of Bonny Youth. So maybe that would be a deterrent to other youth body in the next election. But as a Caretaker Committee, I have not rested as a chairman, and my committee members we have been working hard, seeing how we comb those vices in making sure that everybody participates in the election. But the way it is today in the Bonny Youth Federation is a thing of rapture now. Everybody will not make heaven. Are you getting me? It's a thing of rapture now. That the way that where we are now, everybody will not make heaven, except those serious-minded people who have decided to repent and ask for forgiveness or go for peace, peaceful virtue. They will partake. So heaven is open for those who wish. Heaven, but I and you makes heaven. Allow Lucifer to exist. Lucifer must have his own people. So at the end of the day, those who die to work with Lucifer will stay. But
all right. So, but what do you have to say? It has come to my notice that some persons are already campaigning, and since there's supposed to be a profiling by the DSS before you are actually a candidate or aspirant for the election, what do you have to say about people that are already campaigning? We see campaign flyers and posters everywhere on Facebook, and people already started campaigning. What are your comments about this?
And my brother, you see, like if you have gone through this profiling, this process, we will not waste time to disqualify any person. If they are campaigning to their own peril, because you must make a delegate to be eligible to be an aspirant. So those who are campaigning to their own peril. If they make is their own business. What I know, if I start stopping them now to say you're not supposed to campaign now, they can say not come again within laws. So, but I think we have every law that would tame everybody to order. In fact, it's amazing that some houses that are having disputes are campaigning now. It was what I was discussing with some persons who came from the Jumbo side for Central Matter. They said this was campaigning. I said, house that had not been settled is campaigning. What is he campaigning for? His campaign is to his own peril. And let me also tell you, those who know that they are above 40 should be prepared. That we are calling DSS is calling NIMC, National Identity Management. We are calling their bank accounts, verification accounts. We are calling DSS will make sure they get even the INEC form to know their date of birth, not Facebook date of birth. So those ones who feel that Bonny Youth Federation is their personal property and they are 45, 48, 60 years, they want to come at the age of 40. DSS, we are waiting for them. We are Bonny people who know them. So also let them be aware. So if you are above 40, we will know. And if possible, we will have machine that will test age, because you cannot eat your own, eat your son's own. We are not.
Sorry, you will have a machine that will test age.
If possible, I will give you as a personal decision to import that machine from Lagos to Bonny. We will test their bone to know their real age. We will know their real age because they are taking their age. They want to take from young people. Those who are above 40 are clamoring for delegates in Bonny Youth Federation. That I, Buruwi, am chairman Caretaker Committee, and very enlightened members who are watching. I have written to DSS. They have to call National Identity Management NIM.
You'll be disqualifying some candidates who are already campaigning. There's likelihood of disqualification.
My brother, yeah, I've written to DSS to write for what's it called BVN. Their BVN will find their date of birth. They will write to National Identity Management. Those who have national ID card will know their date of birth. To know. So I'm just giving them as an expo that if you know you are more than the ages of 18, you are not up to 18, and you are not up to 18 and not above 40. Don't come if you are above 40. 1 day above 40, don't come. 2 hours above 40, don't come.
All
because
right.
it's for Bonny youths, not for
All right.
adults.
Listening to
The youth
all
is
you
not for
are
Bonny adults.
listening to all you are about to do, the name and the age testing and everything you're doing, it seems like the election is running on a huge budget. What is your budget for this election?
That I said you do budget for election.
Yes.
We have paid it. What to do? The few that paid what's it called? Youth Development Revenue have helped us. We have to conduct the election. My budget, I won't open up to you. I have no budget. It's whatever that comes in, we use to purchase materials and anything. There is no tentative budget for the election. No particular money was given for that election. So when we are doing it, it's as if people are paying, not even LNG. None of them have given, they used to, they said LNG used to support for election. Well, yesterday I managed to put up a letter which will be sent tomorrow if they will assist us for election, refreshment, anything. But we're running it with the little token we have. That same token we're using to complete the renovation job there. So there is no tentative budget of your wealth as a result of what you have. You know, your budget. So our budget is something, if we have one, we have two, we bring one and two together, we maintain. Money election cannot be like INEC election, where there is crude oil money budgeted for.
But
the only thing we need is to put programs.
Sorry, I'm sorry to comment, but how can you be running an election and you don't have a budget drawn up to run that election? It sounds somehow, if you permit me to say, you need a budget.
Well,
so we are asking, how much is your budget?
I told you, we'll have a budget. If we tell you, will you pay? Our budget is 20 million now. We need you to bring some. My brother, we have a budget. We have an estimate. We have an estimate for the election the way we can. We are like, you know, you know that flower bed, we used to call it Manza, that flower bed. It said there is no how you will allow, there is no how the bird will, lay an egg that is bigger than its waist. So we'll take our budget from what we have. You don't expect one flower maker to lay an egg that is as big as flower.
Sorry for me to come in. So how do you plan, or how do you intend to give account of all you are going to spend for this election if there is no budget?
Budget is an estimate. We have an estimate, and the estimate will give priority to prioritize items. Budget is an estimate, and we pick them as at what we have at hand. We will not have a problem of 1,000, and we know that we have 200, and we put it into 1,000. So we are cutting our clothes with the we are cutting our clothes with the size of material, not by our own side. We'll design it with any other material that comes. We can use any other material to add it and design it, but not clothes.
All right. So just before I allow the audience to call in and ask their questions, because they're going to call in and ask you their questions, I would like to take a very serious recommendation from hello, I'm coming, sir. I would like
qualification, because you didn't ask for qualification.
I'm coming.
You did not ask for qualification.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
So, but I want to quickly give a recommendation. I want to give a recommendation before I forget. So, the deputy woman leader for Bonny is saying that please take the issue of women inclusiveness and representation seriously. Yes, funds should be free, if not highly subsidized, for women. I thought I should give you that very important message before we go on. So before I give the room for questions, so tell us about eligibility to contest for the election, from position of leader to other position. What are the eligibilities to contest? Just do that for me in 2-3 minutes before I give them the floor to ask their questions.
Okay, my brother. When I contested, I was part of those who wrote in the constitution. I think that was 1999 or 98. Dr. Boma Baningo, Dr. Hekai Ashetai Goni, Last People, Omoni Baningo. I was the smallest boy why we drafted a constitution for. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
One of
Please
the tenets of that, Dr. Boma and others were in school. Then I was out of school, secondary school, not yet in university. They were in university then. We now looked at it that before it's just for you to come around school SATs. And they now said, no, leader and secretary should be at least minimum diploma. Now, every other position should be school SATs. At least you have 3 credits. But, you know, that process lingered till senior's first tenure. It remains that way. Senior second tenure, they reviewed constitution with certain persons who hadn't such qualification.
So what
virtue or what brought them in to serve?
What eligibility is your committee working with? What eligibility
what they did, they reviewed it. What they did, they reviewed it to school SATs. And when I came in, the first time I had an interview with Shebu, Viewpoint, I said I will return back to the founding fathers' rule as to encourage education in Bonny. That was the reason why we said to be leader and secretary, you must be a diploma holder. The other one school SAT. But now a generation had come, that thing brought them in. They came and thwarted it and said everybody school SATs to cover some persons. When I was on air, I said no, I will turn that in. I was threatened, they threatened to kill me. I have their names too, but they have come pleading. Because of school, I said we must go back to diploma minimum. Well, some called and said, what is Buhari? This one, that one. I have returned it. I have returned it to what they want. You should be surprised that even the 5 credits is difficult for them to have. Have you seen a situation where a graduate, a diploma, or a HND holder will call me to ask me that they requested this? I said the school SAT 5 credit will ask me if he's qualified. Have you heard something? That I said the minimum qualification is school SAT with 5 credits will call me to ask me if he's qualified to run a HND holder. So you find out
as youth leader, which qualification will he need? Is school SAT or diploma?
No. For now, I have made it for all, but at least not all will have it too. What we did now, what we did was to say school SAT attend, because people are using Atiku and Buhari to say they can take me to court. There are people, a lot of people are calling me now, even Atiku and Buhari, now affidavit, why I go through and like that. But at the end, we must move on, because apart from the Egyptian politician, we can do without the best. So we are moving on. Life has process. That's the reason why you must be pregnant through a man till you deliver. There is process. And those that do not want our process and our progress will not also accept it. So we are ready to move. For now, it's minimum qualification is school SAT. When they come in with the constitution, they can review and draft and return it back to the founding fathers, like Dr. Boma Banigo and others, what they saw to encourage the education of Bonny youths.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, so in a few minutes,
go ahead, yeah.
In a few minutes, I'll be opening the floor for everybody to call in and ask their questions. So just to let you know, there are many people that have a lot of questions we want to ask you. So viewers, if you can see your screen right now, the phone number on the screen, you can call me to ask me your question. And my guest will be hearing you loud and clear as you ask your question, whatever question you will have. So this is opening the phone lines for everybody to call in and ask their questions. Okay, so actually, while we wait for people to call in to ask their questions, what is the approved or the age you are using for people to contest? So who is a youth? What age makes you a youth? Is it 40, 45, 46, 47? What age makes you a youth? I and
you know that there are different definitions of youth. Okay, but the acceptable definition of youth shouldn't be within the ages above the ages of 40 or 45. So okay, if you serve at 40, you earn maybe either at 42 or 44 and let the place go. But if you serve at 45, so you go when you're 68.
Okay, so what is your committee?
You see, let me also ask you.
What is your committee working with? What is your committee working with?
Working with?
Yes. What age is it?
This thing is there between the ages of 18, and not above 40.
Okay, hold on.
Did you
We
also
have
ask
a caller.
the problem, the comments about bringing women as delegates among?
Hello, hold on.
Okay.
Hello, welcome. Yeah, welcome. Please, your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah.
And to my senior colleague, this is the chairman. I appreciate your great work. My question is simple. Please, I want to ask, in view of female inclusiveness, don't you think it is more encouraging and better for the funds to be given freely to the females to encourage them in participating in this election? Like you rightly stated that since the inception of the Bonny Youth Federation executive, there is just very few women that have become the executive in different of the executives. So I want to appeal that please try to make it free for them, just as it's done in the circular.
Okay.
Direct parties are giving their female folks before free of charge, because most of these females might not even have the resources to purchase it for.
Okay.
That's my appeal. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Did you get that, leader? So the person is saying,
a statement, but if it's a question, please let me hear.
Okay, the person is saying that he is appealing.
I didn't get it well, but if it's a
okay, the person is just saying that he is appealing that you make the sales of form for the women free to encourage inclusiveness. That in the history of Bonny Youth Federation, they have not had so much inclusiveness of women. So he's saying that you should make that inclusive. Yes. All right. So
that's him that by the power invested. That's him that by the power invested on me at the Caretaker Committee. I will summon for meeting tomorrow, and you will hear us via social media that the women will be considered appropriately. His request will be considered, but with the consent of my committee members. Thank you.
All right. We have another caller. Hello. Good afternoon. Please, your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, my name is Wilcox-buruwi, and I'm calling from Abuja.
Okay. Go on. You have 1 minute, please.
I want to ask the deputy chairman. I want to humbly ask, what is the election process like? Hello,
I can hear you. Go on. What is the election process like? Go on.
Okay, I want to ask, what is the election process like? Is it an open ballot? Is it an open ballot system or system?
Okay. Thank you. So someone just asked Canada. He said, what's the election process like? Is it open ballot or closed?
The election process for the past 22 years now is open secret ballots. Where usually before 22 years ago, it used to be all for all, but it's an open secret ballot. Thank you.
Okay. All right, another caller. Hello.
Hello, my name is Jumbo.
Okay.
Good evening, Bonny people. I want to just ask the chairman a simple question.
Okay.
Regards to family business as well.
In regards to what?
I know we are talking about community, and we still need to consider this factor also.
Okay.
I hear a lot of people, it's not like a rumor, I hear a lot of people talking about them doing the executive to be a party business. Can you just defend that on air, being the chairman of the PDP party in Wilcox and in Bonny, that he will not mandate everybody to pass through his own party for them to get into this business.
Okay, you want him to clarify on party affiliation and then the BYF election?
Yes, concerning the election, that if you are not a political person, you will find it difficult to pass through process.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we have lost the chairman in a bit while we're taking the calls. So I'll try and get him back. So this person, Kingston, is asking the chairman to clarify his position as chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Bonny chapter, and then being and then the BYF elections, just to clarify his position on things. Okay, so that's fine. All right, the chairman will join us shortly. I think he's having some network issues, so I'm taking down your questions to ask him. Yeah, hello, welcome to the show. Please, your name, where you're calling from.
Hello.
Yes, hello, I can hear you. Go on.
Hello.
All right, that wasn't clear enough. Okay, so today we have actually heard a lot. I'm sure that he's going to call back shortly. He's having some network issues, so we should expect him back shortly. But I believe that we've gotten a lot of clarity on some of the issues. The BYF election has been around many of the issues, and I believe that we've been able to clear. But what has shocked me the most is hearing that the BYF is a money-making venture, one way or the other. So the cost of the form at 100,000, which I personally still think is outrageous, regardless of what we are trying to achieve to reduce the number of people, not everybody coming as leader. 100,000 is still outrageous for me. We are trying to reduce the money in our mainstream politics, especially when, like, President Buhari bought his form for presidency at 55 million naira. There was an outrage around the country. Why would the form cost that much? So I still believe that the cost of the form at 100,000 naira is too excessive, regardless of what we are trying to achieve. But I think the committee has taken their stand, and this is what it is. So my guest is back. Hello, welcome. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, good
Sorry,
evening.
my brother.
Yes, good evening.
My name is calling from Bonny Island.
Okay.
Please, I have a question for the acting leader of DYF.
Okay, go on.
My question is, would I be right to say that him acting as Mr. Buri acting as the chairman of PDP and at the same time the chairman of BYF, acting chairman of BYF, will I be right to say that that is a conflict of interest?
Okay.
The second question, is it proper?
Answer taking the records and use your phone. Answer this phone. Come do this volume.
Equally act as the umpire or as the electoral committee chairman. Is it proper for him to act that way? So those are my three questions.
All right, thank you so much. All right, welcome to the show, sir. Welcome back. So two questions I have for you that the viewers have asked. Can you hear me? Hello, leader. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
You're muted, though. If you can hear me, you're muted. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you. Not by earpiece.
Okay. Why he tries to connect back? So let me leave that open. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the show. Please, your name and where you're calling from. Can you speak up a little? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go on.
My name is Kalada.
Kalada. Okay, Kalada, let's hear you.
My brother.
Okay, please, there are some things
Please, hold on. Sorry.
shouldn't be on air. There is a saying that when the essence of a thing is not known, at the beginning of it, I don't expect a former youth leader to come on air to say that BYF is a place for is a land of milk and honey. So are you telling the people comparing to this position that it is an avenue for you to money, or it is an avenue for you to serve your community and help to develop your community? You see, so it's not. It shouldn't be on air. It shouldn't be on what it shouldn't be on air. It's an avenue for you to start your community and develop your community.
Okay.
Not the means of you making money.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Welcome back, sir. Can you hear me now?
I'm with you. Yeah,
all
I'm
right.
very well.
I don't know if you're able to hear some of the questions. I don't know. I know the volume was not loud enough.
It wasn't. Yeah, you can come with them.
Okay. So first of all, the first caller asked, that please you should try to clarify for us, as a chairman of the PDP and also as the acting leader of the BYF Caretaker Committee, is there no conflict of interest, and how do you plan to handle it?
Brother, I became. Had there been any Caretaker Committee chairman or Youth Federation, anybody that is not a member of political party? I became a Caretaker Committee chairman before I became party chairman. I only will do my job to the best of my knowledge with my God and respect to the land of Bonny. I'm here to conduct election without being biased. Whomever that wins will be declared. It has nothing to do with my party affiliation. After I'm not the first person who is in a party that conducted the election for Bonny Federation.
So are you guaranteeing the youth of Bonny that there is no conflict of interest, as you are the chairman of your party, at the same time the acting leader of the BYF?
You can see that out of 35 chieftaincy house plus the particular house, I have received from 27. From if my family, Wilcox group, comes with theirs, I will. If my family, the Wilcox groups come with theirs, the last one, Christy Wilcox, it should be about 28. So I have an even number and support of the community and the chieftaincy houses to conduct election free and fair. I've been fair in all my dealings. In fact, my being party chairman, it's another thing that will make me conduct election without fear nor favor. Because after this one, as a party chairman, I will be where elections will be conducted. So this is a must test. So I'm working assiduously, making sure that there will be free, fair, credible, and acceptable elections for Bonny youth.
And the fears from people that you might be tweaking the election to suit your party is not true.
Well, in as much as Bonny Federation is concerned, I am not for party. I don't play partisan youth. I'm here for Bonny Kingdom, not just Bonny. I'm here for Bonny Kingdom, and I'm here to work for Bonny Kingdom. And party do not take away my being a Bonny person to serve under Bonny Youth Federation. Party wouldn't stop me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. One more caller. Hello. Welcome to the show. Go on, please, with your question and your name, please.
Okay. My name is Ross Phillips.
Okay. Go on, Ross Phillips.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my question is, first of all, the acting chairman has tried to explain to us that everything will be free and fair. So you want to use this opportunity to ask him that that means there will be no issue with concerned youths of the kingdom that won't be delegates and maybe active on the social media platform to come on the election day and broadcast live, since it's also a secret open ballot election. Open secret election, yeah.
Okay. I'll ask him now.
Then the second one, since you have talked about DSS profiling,
Yeah.
there's a probability that people will be screened out.
Okay.
With the information, why? Because he also said he wants to do a free and fair election, and I believe, like I know him, he's always open, like we are seeing today.
Okay.
With the reasons why the delegates or nominated delegates are screened out also be
made public.
If there is any issue, and will it, like sometimes when they want to do ambassador, they have some friends. They usually make it an open section. Will the screening by DSS will it be
okay?
Will it be a closed door something or an open
all right,
door,
all right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Rasuli. All right. So so this person is asking that the profiling by the DSS, will it be public or will it be a secret one? And are Bonny people going to know the reason why any delegate will be disqualified from the screening?
Well, I am not the DSS. DSS, they are secret intelligence. The constitution gives them the will to invite, not investigate whomever on any issue and come up with clearance or non-clearance. So, well, I believe that if there is disqualification, there should be an announcement to it and reasons to that. But I wouldn't speak. I would wish the security agency to speak for themselves. But the only thing I know, I have fulfilled the executive order of the governor of Rivers State that in course of combing youth restiveness and social vices, youth organization and youth bodies should be screened by the DSS, Director of State Security. So they are intelligence agencies. I don't know their modus operandi in which they will screen them. Mine is to return the profile forms to them, and they will return back to me. I don't know if they will be permitted to be made open or known. That's their own policy. Any other one?
Okay. Yes, there's another question again. So, what about observers? So, what is your plan for observers? I mean, people that want to come and observe the election that are not delegate. What is your plan for them?
Yeah, there are foremost youth organizations that automatically we need to write to observe our election. Bonny Youth election is one election that the world will be waiting for. It's one election that the entire Niger Delta are hopeful about. So I believe that I have been a youth activist. I will invite, looking at insecurity around Bonny and her neighbors, and to form a synergy with the new executive. I wish to invite youth organizations within the Bonny environs, like the Andoni Youth Council, Wakreke, which is Wakreke Youth Council, Bile Youth Council, Calabar Youth Council, Obolo Nation, and on the Youth Council. These organizations, National Youth Council, Rivers State Youth Federation, they will be observers to this election. And maybe one or two human rights activists or organizations, that will come. That will be determined by my committee, which I've been able to reach out to some. A lot of them are interested to be in the election for Bonny people. Even the media house will not be left out. So we're trying, looking at what we have. So we are not the franchise any person. If you feel you want to be an observer in any group in Bonny, like the Title Citizen Assembly, if you feel you want to be an observer, you can write to us. If we look at it, INEC, you write to them, you wish to be an observer. And they screen and look at the reason. If you're not biased, we'll bring you in. But if you're an observer that is coming there to see white and said it's red, then you might not have it. So if those individuals and organizations who wishes to be observer can write to us, and we'll provide an enable environment for them and a tag for them.
Okay.
But my idea of bringing
so my next question will be...
Okay. Go ahead. I'm with you.
All right. So my next question will be that someone is asking, if we have a tie vote between aspirants, how are you going to cast that veto vote, decisive veto vote? How are you going to do it?
If there is a tie, If there's a tie, part of our laws, I as a chairman can untie it or will ballot it. It's a two-way thing. So if there is a tie, would I bring an independent person outside to come and on losing the tie? Or you want us to go back again for election? It's not possible. And we pray, God forbid, because whatever we ask is what he will give. We won't get to the point of tie. But I think every other aspect of the election were expected and envisaged, we've been able to close up. You know, but we are humans, we are infallible. We'll always fail. Only God, only God. God is a perfection. We are humans. Yeah? We are infallible beings, so we can always fail. But
so we
pray that at this point,
you just mentioned by your laws. So before the election, will you be publishing the entire laws that will cover the election so that everybody's aware? So there's no surprises on that day.
Virtually everything about the election is on the guideline. Take your time and go through it. If there's any other thing, like the women thing, the people are agitated. Are you there? Like,
yeah, I'm hearing you now.
As we progress, we update. We're able to capture everything concerning the elections, you know. But as humans, like the one for the women now, they talked about being their first outing and consideration into the Bonny Youth Federation, we should allow. We'll look at that. If we find it worthy, we'll update. Update is part of our job. We have the official Bonny Youth Federation platform, not any other platform. Official Bonny Youth Federation platform that will be transcend to other organizations, other executives. It's not an individual thing. Once we are through, we'll hand over the admin to the new people. They will run. Anything you hear, Bonny Youth Federation, have not even been Congress member before to know about Bonny Youth Federation, some of them. So Bonny Youth Federation must have official. Whatever that is there, will inform them on official Bonny Youth Federation meant for Bonny people, not for Facebook ghosts that will come and jeopardize our interest.
Okay, yeah. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Bonny.
Your name is what?
Thank you, Mr. Justice Ajemina.
Okay, Justice Ajemina. Okay, go on.
Mr. Chairman, sir, please, I want to kindly ask that in view of the conflict resolution modalities that your committee has put in place to resolve issues of more than one nomination, with respect to issues of houses sending in more than one person because of the conflict in the other houses, like Jumbo, as you rightly stated. I want to ask, in view of this challenge, what are the modalities put in place to address it? Because I know
modalities put in place to address more than one nomination from houses. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think you have explained that before, leader. You said those houses should be sending in or should bring letter from the chieftaincy house. Is that correct? From His Majesty's Palace, houses that wish to be recognized for nominations, that have issues, they should attach a letter from from His Majesty's Palace. Is that correct?
Yeah, I said all these things we saw it coming. So we decided not to write a particular chieftaincy. Majority of the chiefs are in court. Some of the chairmen of houses are in court. Okay, just few chiefs that are not in court. So we cannot be having litigations upon litigation. So we eschewed the whole thing towards saying that every chairman of a house must have a faction that is recognized by the national institution. Anyone that gets a letter from Politics Council attached to the letter, we will accept it. But if you cannot get from the Kingdom organization, then we cannot do anything. We can't do anything.
Hold on, sir. So your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Opuada Kunu, former deputy leader for Bonny Youth Federation.
Opuada Kunu.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go on with your question.
Okay, my question is simple. First and foremost, I think I want to correct an impression.
Okay.
Bonny Youth Federation will operate on a technical basis as chairman, not acting youth leader. That's one.
Okay.
Two, I want to ask, if the five are being cleared by the DSS, The 5 is being clear. The 5 are clear. How do we select the 3, or what modality will we use to select the 3 delegates we wish?
Okay, let me get your question straight. If the 5 persons sent to the DSS are cleared, what are the modalities put in place to select the 3? Is that your question?
Yes, sir. That's my question. Because I am made to understand that the Constitution of Bonny Federation recognizes delegates, not nominations.
Okay, the Constitution of the BYF recognizes delegates, not nominations.
Yes, not nominations.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me ask him those questions.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, Chairman, so I've been corrected that your position is chairman and not acting youth leader. Is that correct?
I do not have anything to explain to opposition. I am the head of Bonny Youth Federation affairs now. So
okay.
There are issues I didn't answer. But because I'm in the public view, I have to answer certain myopic questions. You know? But there's no problem. You know,
all right.
Mandela said because he's Mandela. Mandela said because he's involved. So the white man court cannot give him justice because he's involved. So go ahead.
Okay. So the question the person was asking is, I should ask you that when they send the 5 persons for the DSS profiling as delegates, how are you planning, or how is your committee planning to select the other 3 persons out of the 5?
Mr. Wisdom, you know that I've answered this question before, and maybe if that questionnaire wish to get more insight, you should follow up the program after now. Go ahead with other questions, please.
All right.
Important to help us to, yeah.
Okay. So I think at this juncture we have exhausted most of the questions, and truly you have answered that before. If in case you joined the show late, you can watch it over again to get the answer to that question, which I directly asked him. So how many of the aspirants have bought their forms? And I want you to clarify now how many houses are having issues. You said 27 houses have already sent their names and names of delegates.
Yeah.
So how many houses? How many houses aside the Jumbo Major House is having issues? To the best of your understanding.
Jumbo issue will settle. From my calculations, the houses that are having issues are about 3 or 4.
Okay.
About 3 or 4. If you include the Jumbos, I think it will be settled within noon tomorrow. I'm working towards that. You know, unfortunately, we're also serving, mostly myself and my secretary, we're also serving as a court of arbitration judges, where we try to settle issues, you know, in houses, bringing groups, factions together, you know, to muscle up peace, you know, in the process. So, but I wish to also state that those who are calling that the forms will share for free, there's one thing in Bonny now, what I call entitlement mentality. And I wish them and tell them that that entitlement mentality, they feel whatever you have, wisdom owns, belongs to them. They have right to it because wisdom is from Bonny. Or whatever, whenever you give them, they feel you must give them for free. We are not in Freetown. We are not in Sierra Leone. Even in Freetown, no free food. Forms will be paid. That entitlement mentality will not accept. We must uphold our tenants as a people on how to build ourselves, not living in another man's shadow. Are you getting me?
I'm getting you.
We are poised to conduct free, fair, credible elections without fear nor favor. But we know, I too know, that there are Judases. There are Judases all along. But by the grace, we will surpass them. We are there to work for the kingdom. The kingdom, I am there to work. The Bonny Youth Federation, I think I should be one of, if you take my age group, I'm the oldest person within my age group in Bonny Youth Federation. So we want more people to come in. There are elders who made Bonny Youth Federation. We are trying to do a lot to bring back the glory of Bonny Youth Federation. I know there are some persons who are not happy because they have no job. Even what they read in school, they can't practice it. what they are doing is Bonny Youth Federation. They have built oligarchy that every youth leader that comes must be their own to give them supply, to give them anything. But I'm not that, you know. But I think that oligarchy will destroy it. I have destroyed it with the guidelines. You know, so you don't expect them to be happy. Even from their questions, you will know them. From their faces, you will know them. From their questions, you will know them. But I pray that after today, when they go, they will have everything to practice what they study in school. Thank you, sir.
Just to take you back a little, you know, I'm still disturbed about the issue of the cost of the form and the Bonny Youth Federation as a money-making organization. You know, you sort of create an impression that if you want to get rich, go and contest for BYF election as a youth, and you will get rich.
No, let me tell you. Chapp-Jumbo, you are using the word money-making. But I'm using the word that it is the treasure of our forebearers. That when you serve, no, you can hardly find any leader today in Bonny that does not go through Bonny Youth Federation youtheism and activism. Is he Aboma People? Is he Ado Wilcox? Is he President Chief Jack Wilson People, the Vice Chairman of Bonny Youth Council? Who will you mention in Bonny that hasn't gone through Blaggy, Blessing Ezekiel Hart? Who in Bonny? Is it Randolph? There is no person you mentioned in Bonny that is known today that did not partake or partook in the activities of Bonny. Bonny Federation is a breeding ground, and it don't breed like that. It breeds joy. It breeds anarchy. It breeds wealth, whether you like it or not. Bonny is a wealthy and treasure base of this state. Bonny is wealthy. Our ancestors are wealthy. So I am telling you that I went into Bonny Federation. It was like a footstep for me to where I am today. And every other person that have served in various capacities, even Edward Pepper, former chairman, they are all product of Bonny Youth Federation. Nobody will say Bonny Federation did not favor him or her, except you bear grudges and evil against Bonny Federation. That's the reason why after 10 years or 8 years you serve as deputy leader or anything, you still do not have a profession where you want to die in Bonny Federation. Okay, so as God may have it, God has brought me through the immense wealth of society and chairman of council, and that oligarchy, that bridge, I bridge it for the younger ones to take over. So Bonny Federation is for Bonny youth, not for Bonny adults. It's not for Bonny adults. Please. Adults who are finished school should have profession.
I'm calling from
Jumbo what? Okay, Jumbo Ajay, okay.
Ajalaji Jumbo.
One of the factions goes to the traditional council and get a order or a letter as you have said if you're having issues in your house.
Okay.
One of that person goes to a defense or restricting the ones that went to the council to get an order. How does he and his committee?
Wait, let us break your question down. So you are saying that in the event where a particular fraction goes to the palace to get a letter, go on from that point.
Yes, go to the palace to get the letter to defend them to be an authentic delegate.
Yes.
And one of that fashion, this is the court to get their own defense.
Okay.
Making them an authentic delegate against the one that comes from the palace.
Okay.
How does the committee handle such issue?
All right. Okay, thank you so much for that question. Very, very important question. Okay. So, Chairman, so the question is, what will you do in the event that one fraction of a house goes to the Amanabos Palace to get a letter to show they are authentic, and another fraction goes to the court to get a letter to show that they are authentic? How would your committee handle this issue?
My brother, I have handled a lot of them who are Bonny people, in as much as we respect the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are Bonny people first before we became Nigerians. What I will do at that point, I have done it. I have settled a lot of houses. Because when they say the faction that is going to court is not going for youths. They are going, the elders are the ones going to court. So issues like that are everywhere. But if we look at it, that there's a substantial judgment from an appellate court of competent jurisdiction saying that that group is the head of the house, will obey the court orders. I'm a lawmaker.
Okay.
Will obey the court order. But not that when it's not an interlocutory injunction or an order from court, you just come and the court said we should do this. I am not in part of the case. The youth were in part of the case. We'll go ahead with the election, the one from Palace. Everybody, whether you go to anywhere, we are subject to Palace. But a substantial order or interlocutory injunction as regards to youth activities, the youth body faction, I will obey the court order. I'm in Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm bound by the rules of the Constitution of Nigeria. The 1999 Constitution, written by 6 persons, as was presented to Obasanjo by Abdul Salam, which we call the People's Constitution.
All right. So just before I let you go, I know we have answered all of the questions that have been asked. I don't know if you have more questions, please. Now is a good time to ask as we round up. But before I let you go, Chairman, I want you to share with us. So as we go into these elections, I'm aware that the forms will be on sale by tomorrow, Monday. People will start coming to buy their forms from tomorrow, Monday. But I want to ask you, what are some of your achievements as a caretaker committee as we go into this election, and what will you be handing over to the new executives?
Well, as a caretaker committee, can you hear me?
I can hear you, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've been able to settle certain industrial disputes. When it comes to Bonny issue, if it's wisdom, they will all be in court. If wisdom is to benefit, everybody will be on social media. There were young, vibrant Bonny men who were unlawfully sacked by Julius Berger. I made a letter to we made a letter to German embassy, European embassy, Julius Berger, NLNG MD, and they have been recalled to work. And a lot of other issues we were able to arbitrate on. We've achieved that. You didn't see it on social media because it was against a Bonny person. If it was for good, it would be on social media. Why must that person get it? That's another thing. The other side, we've been able to fence the place. We've been able to plaster the place. Painting will start by Tuesday. We'll be able to hand over a redefined office for the next executive come the day of swearing in. We're working. We are hopeful that by the time we'll hand over, the grass field everywhere in the premises will be tiled with cement, floored will be floored, to give access for people to go in case of occasion, and the people can drive in as a car park. We have been working on that. We have renovated everywhere. We are still working the way we can. However we are able to do it, I think the newest code that will be coming in will have a new defined edifice they can comfortably call Bonny Youth Federation of Complex. I think that there's no achievement like that. And with 1 or 2 programs we'll carry up, when at that time. If you say it now, as part of our handing over, everybody will start. Those their names wouldn't be part of it will start up again. At the appropriate time, we'll lay up more programs that will lead to the activity of the handover and swearing in of a new executive of Bonny Youth Federation. In the grace of God Almighty, we hope that we'll have a peaceful transition.
All right. Yeah, I can hear you, and I can't thank you enough for your time today to clarify some of these issues.
One thing, permission.
Yes, go on.
You did
go
not.
On.
Wisdom. My younger brother, he knew that on the 12th of September, I would have been killed with the chairman of Bonny local government as an assembly member. And the entire government, seat of government of Bonny would have been assassinated. Are you not aware? You couldn't even say anything to your brother. Just to the mango, if not that I'm from aside at the front of the shores that I can swim and chairman can swim. would have been dead people. You putting down the wall that they have been assassinated on me.
I
want the world to know
that
there was an assassination attempt. And we're also mourning as a people and as a youth that 5 of our Bonny men were being picked away, are still with the captives, and we pray. I think before we close, you will give us a minute, you help us for a minute prayer for the release of the 5 captives, you know, and but those of us who God survived, that Germany may not happen again.
What is the local government doing now to secure those people? I think they are 4 in number.
Yeah, 5. They are 5.
5. So 5. What is the work going
from
on
the communication as part of rescuing them? From communication and discussion is ongoing. There are 5. We thought there were 4, but there are 5. Someone who also visited for the funeral. Yeah, there are 5. Not Bonny 4. They are Bonny 5. We pray to God Almighty. Maybe by the end of this program, when you give 1 minute for people to pray, not just to call, to ask questions, call one pastor to pray for our brothers. I pray for the council chairman. Pray for governance of Bonny. Pray for the release of others. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, for your time. We have answered some of the questions, and in the coming week, I hope to engage some of the aspirants for the different positions live here on the show, just to be able to be able to let Bonny people and the world know the quality of people we are bringing to run our affairs as youth, and know who we are. So I will hope to engage most of them on the show within the week, and I believe from your guideline and timetable, this week will be the best week to do that as they begin to buy their forms from tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes, and there is manifesto. If you look at the program, we have compulsory manifesto. We have 5 persons who come from the chieftaincy houses to witness, hear from them what happened people.
When would that be? When would that be holding?
On the 18th. On the 18th. There will be manifesto on the 18th.
On the 18th
of this month.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
you very much. All right. Thank you very much, Chairman. I really must thank you for your time, and I do have a lovely weekend.
Do the prayer and I ask for a prayer for us now, for our brothers.
I will do
ask
that.
Someone there to call in for prayer.
Yes, I will do that. I still have one more guest. I have one more guest to talk to. After that, we'll do the prayer and we'll round off. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. Go now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Bye.
All right. Okay. So that is a power-packed discussion, but we are not done. Before I let you go, just before we round up the show, there was an aspirant that stepped down from the entire competition. His name is Emmanuel Hart, and I put a call through to him to know why, and why he has stepped down in a very critical time like this, when we want more people to come into the election. So Emmanuel Hart is here. He wants to share with us why he chose to step down from that election, and why he has chosen to support one of the aspirants. Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Where you are, the visual is really poor. I don't know if you can change where you are. The visual is poor.
You're in the show. Okay.
Yeah, we are live already.
Okay, you can see me.
Okay, it's better now. So, Emmanuel, talk to me. We know that you were about to run for the position of youth leader, but suddenly you stepped down from the race. Were you pressured to step down?
No, I was not really pressured to step down. First, permit me to use this medium to express my, and condemn the kidnap of the Bonny 4 victims. And it is surprising that today makes it 3 weeks and just a day. We are yet to hear from our fathers. I'm not happy. And with the information available to me, the OC kidnap said that nobody has come to, meet them for whatever reasons. Also, the OC gunboats said the same thing, that nobody has come to meet with them or to discuss the issues of these kidnapped victims of whatever. And it's surprising. You know, the information I got reveals that it is only His Majesty. It is only His Majesty that is making frank effort to make sure that our brothers are released. So please, I want to all those concerned to take to do what they are supposed to do. Yes.
Emmanuel,
Yeah.
your video is frozen. I don't know if it's a network issue, but we can't see you again.
Can you see me now?
Better now. Just stay the way you are. So go on. All right.
Okay,
I'm aware now. I'm aware now that the local government is in communication on how to get them released from their captives and how to locate them.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to go into that issue, but I will just try to brief you, about the security information that I got, and I'm appealing to the relevant authorities, to do all within their powers to make sure that our brothers are returned safely. Yeah, in answering your question, I didn't.
Yes.
I was not pressurized to step down. Okay. Now, in the whole thing, BYF election is a block kind of election. Where, like, for instance, in my block, in Hart House, we have 3 blocks. We have the Ezekiel Hart, we have the Abraham Hart, and we have the Captain Hart Major. And at this time, it is the turn of the Abbey. It is the turn of the Abbey, the Captain Hart House, the Ezekiel, and the Abbey. We are in the same block. And at this time, it is the time of the turn of the Abbey, to produce, to represent in the Bonny Youth Federation. So I respect this mutual relationship. I respect this.
But didn't you know this before you step forward?
Yeah, I of course I noticed, but we thought we could look at all these things holistically. But at the end of the day, I've decided not to be a greedy man, and I also decided not to truncate an existing position that has already been taking place. So that's the position. So I want to say, I'm strongly supporting the Abbey House because this is their turn. Next time, the Hart House, it will be the turn of the Hart House. And that time, I will also come out to tell people if really I will also be vying for that election. But for now, I'm strongly supporting the Abbey House to represent so that we don't truncate a process. A lot of us have, a lot of our brothers have benefited.
Let me get this straight. So you are stepping down because of the precedence on the block vote on who to present, but you're not stepping down because you came to the realization that you could not win the election.
No, of course, everybody knows that I was a top contender in that election. I've virtually consulted all the youth leaders. I've virtually consulted critical stakeholders. I've virtually consulted even our respected Sialapo, So I've really gone far, but that's notwithstanding, I must respect the position of the zoning in the block. And that's, and I've come out to say I am supporting the Abbey. Whatever it will take me to support the Abbey to make sure they represent, that is what I've told myself. It will be a justice in the part of the Abbey if you give them the opportunity, to represent. So for now, that's the position.
But we recently saw you supporting one Emmanuel Fine Country instead of the Abbey you have just said. Why? Are we not? Are we missing something?
Well, it will be a great disservice to Bonny Youth and Bonny Kingdom. I will not jeopardize the interest of Bonny Youth. I will never joke. Look at what is happening today, the precarious situation we are faced with in Bonny Kingdom today. We are faced with insecurity. 3 weeks ago, our fathers were kidnapped. A lot of abnormalities is happening. And at this time, a lot of our youth had cried. We need a leader that has been trusted, that has been tested. For instance, I followed your program with Honorable Ajay Baningo. And Honorable Ajay Baningo said some salient things.
Sorry, Emmanuel, can you stay stable where you are now? Just stay stable so that we can see you clearly. Just stay stable. Don't move again. Yes, okay, go on.
Okay. Now, Honorable Ajay, in your program, he spoke about salient issues. He talked about antecedents. So people must know where you are coming from. And that's the reason why I have told people that I have frontiered in a lot of, fight and struggle and advocacy in Bonny Kingdom. And I know it is not an easy terrain. And Emmanuel Fine Country, it is one man that has been so pivotal to everything we have achieved as Bonny Youth. Emmanuel Fine Country was pivotal to the emergence of a Bonny rector. At a time, people thought it was not realistic, but Emmanuel Fine Country stood, immobilized, and also mobilized my members under the auspices of Youth Coalition for Good Governance. Not only that, there was a time we were marginalized by the Nigerian NLNG, where they did a direct employment, and they told us our percentage, was
Okay.
8. Was
Okay,
8. Yes.
Emmanuel, what I wanted to know was why you're not supporting your heart house, like you mentioned before, and why we see you supporting Fine Country. Is it that you're supporting the both of them at the same time?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, come back with your question.
I said what I was. Okay, we lost him. Emmanuel, can you hear me now? Hello. Okay. He has just 2 more minutes left. But we'll get him back on the show to just give us. I just wanted to be sure that he wasn't pressured to drop from the race of youth leader of the BYF, and some of his reasons why he dropped off from the race in the first place, so that we are clear that this election is free and fair and nobody is muzzling anybody out of their way unnecessarily. So just to be sure that he stepped down from his own free
Yeah,
will, and he has tried to explain that.
Wisdom, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So I
Okay,
was saying that
come up with your question.
yeah, I was saying that earlier you said the reason why you're stepping down is to give your support to the other hat house in your block that was coming out for the election.
Yes.
But many of us are surprised now to see that you're supporting the Fine Country. Or are you supporting the both candidates at the same time?
No, the Abbey people, the Abbey representative has not come to say he's content for leadership position. We are not talking about leadership position. You understand?
Okay.
They've not come to say they are contesting for any leadership position. But the man with Fine Country has come to say he is contesting. And I have said he has been tested and he has a capacity. So we are not looking for toddlers for now. Bonny Kingdom needs people who have been tested. Like I was saying, Emmanuel.
Okay, hold on.
Please, can you allow me to make this point, please?
Okay, go on.
That's why you have me on this show. Emmanuel Fine Country almost lost his life while protesting against marginalization, injustice method on Bonny Youth. When we are shortchanged by Nigerian NLNG, who gave us 5 slots and told us it was 8 when they did direct employment in NLNG 2 years ago. Again, he was pivotal to the championing of fight against insecurity on Bonny waterways and our territorial waters. So this is a man that at this time, Bonny Youth should rather than such a person, with proven integrity. This is not time for toddlers, for people who don't know what is happening in the terrain. So for me, I'm from Heart House, a strong stakeholder from the youth perspective. But I'm telling you, even in my house, the youth ESCO, there is crisis. There's crisis, for God's sake. If you've not been able to manage your house, our lands today, we cannot even account for our lands. And that's why, with the wisdom of the house, they now ask elders to come and support the leadership of the youth angle. And this is not time. The Bonny Youth Federation is not a learning center. It's not a learning ground. We've lost a lot. That's why I'm so much love with the slogan restoration. We are coming to restore the pristine glory of the Bonny Youth Federation. Bonny Youth Federation is an advocacy group. It's a pressure group that will stand and defend the interests of the kingdom. And I think every right-thinking Bonny sons and daughters at this time should rally the restoration team.
Okay, Emmanuel. So just let me get your comment and your views on the guidelines for the election. Are you satisfied by the guidelines?
Well, the guidelines. to be frank, the pay 100,000 is too exorbitant. It's too outrageous, considering the time we are in, the pandemic. A lot of persons have lost a lot of jobs, and all of that. But notwithstanding, like I watched your program with the Eleco Caretaker Committee. Yes, if you made it free, you will see some sycophant and a lot of nitwit coming to to thwart and to frustrate the system and to make it like a go slow. So it's good at times to raise the bar so that you can differentiate or separate the sheep from the wheat, and that is what in the wisdom the Caretaker Committee did. And for me, if you're serious and you believe that you're serious, then you should throw your heart to the ring. So, but even at that, like I said, it's too exorbitant. But notwithstanding, it has happened, and I think I'm okay with it.
Hmm. All right. Thank you, Emmanuel. It was good to hear from you. For me, I am satisfied to know that you were not pressured by anybody to step down for anybody, and you did what you did for the love of your house, and then to
Yes,
give your house the required support.
yes.
And you're standing by a candidate by a conviction you believe in. You are a very popular face on the island, so it would have been sad to hear that in any way you were pressured by anybody to
No, no, no,
step
no.
down for anybody.
Comrade. Let me just correct this impression. See,
Yeah.
I am one man that have always stood against injustice. Recall
Okay.
that WariSenibo Christian Ezekiel had, aspired under the leadership from the Ezekiel Hart when he was their turn to represent in the block. Do you understand?
Yes.
Last
Yes.
election, Klassen, who is also the governor of my house today, contested when it was the turn of the Captain Hart Major House. And this
Okay.
time, it is a merry-go-round. This time, it is the heart of the abbey. So is it not wise for you to let go? Do you want to disenfranchise them? Do you
But
want
now,
to intimidate
but
them?
now that you
So
now that
that's
you
greed and that's selfishness. It mustn't
now
be
that
you
you
at all times. That is my position.
now that you have mentioned Clarkson, but I am aware that Clarkson is also contesting for the position of leader. Clarkson Hart, I mean. So what do you have to
Eh,
say about that?
Anyway, I'm not coming to talk about individual. I'm not coming to talk about everybody has the right to aspire. But what I'm saying at this time, it is the turn of the Abbey House. And for me, I will stand by that rotation. I'm not here to talk about anybody. We all have our interests. We all have our affiliation. We all have our interests. And, right to aspire to whatever.
Because
But
one
at
would
this time,
think
the
that
Abbey House,
he should also be protecting the block vote from the house, just like you, and give the Abbey a chance, and not come into the election and step down like you are doing now, just to give your house a block vote.
well, like I said, it will be an injustice to the Abbeys if the Captain Hart Major House will not support them. It will be an grave injustice to them. So for me, I am appealing to the governor to have a rethink in his position. It is not at times we should listen to our conscience. At times, see, in this election, I'm also from Baningo House. My maternal I'm from Baningo. And the Banigo were ready to give me the slot to go and contest my election. But I told them no. I wouldn't want to compromise my integrity because going to heart, and to Baningo and all of that. But I'm also from Baningo. But I said no. If Emmanuel Fine Country, who I've worked with, and I know he has the capacity to deliver, why don't me align and wait for my own turn to come? I think that is the
Okay.
position. Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. Comrade Emmanuel Hart, this is is a fine place to draw the curtain. We'll be monitoring the election, and like I told the
Okay.
Eleco chair, the caretaker committee chairman just a while ago, I hope to interact with some of these aspirants for the different positions for us to see what are the quality of people that will be going into these elections for the interest of Bonny people. So it will be an interesting time to hear from Emmanuel Hart, Clarkson Hart, and every other candidate that will be stepping forward for the election. And I really appreciate you coming on the show to share your view.
Thank you.
All the best, and see you on the other side.
It's okay. I always obliged to be on your show.
All right, all right. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, so that's that for today, guys. There's a lot that has been revealed on this election, and I hope we go into it with a clear head and a clear mind, and let the best man win. For me, my interest is to ensure that I make you see through the aspirants and the candidates that will be stepping forward to lead you, and the quality of people that will be stepping forward to lead you. So in coming days, I'll be announcing the different times to engage some of the aspirants on some conversation live here on the show, so that they can tell you what they are bringing forward to serve you as leaders of the BYF. Thank you for everybody that stay tuned. This is the Hangout series, and we are here every weekend to bring you all the latest gist. And in October, like I told you last week, we are lined up for many, 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 many interesting stuff. So below the screen as you're watching, you can click the button to follow my page, and also click the button to turn off live notification, just to be the first person to know when we go live on the show. My name is Wisdom, and thank you so much, everybody. It's been a great time hanging out with all of you. The video will be available on my YouTube channel. Just find me, Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo, on YouTube, and you can play and replay and get answers to some of your questions you have been asking. And also, the video will be available just shortly after I end it on my Facebook page for you to watch. Thank you very much. I'm happy to get your comments and views on how the show went. We tried our call in today. Well, it's good for a test. We'll keep improving. We'll need your support. This is the reason why we are saying follow us, so that we can get more views and improve on our viewership. Until I see you again, thank you so much. My name is Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo. Yeah.